Hey guys, Ranger again, and this is a part 2 on the rifle wrap on a budget miniseries that I've decided to do. Many of you have seen the first video of a rifle wrap on a budget, where basically I just took a little bit of burlap this long and about that wide, or longer than this but wide, the same width, painted it and cut some holes in it and called it a day. Well, this one is a bit more time consuming and tedious. The previous one cost maybe $20 or so to make, maybe a little more, maybe 30. This one is along the lines of 40, simply because of the material cost. I ended up buying a new roll of burlap from Hobby Lobby, and I think it's a 15-yard piece of burlap that's about 15 inches long, maybe a little bit more, and that cost about $15 or $17, one of the two. I try to use discounts when I buy this stuff to make it cheaper. I also bought some elastic band to use as the stuff to tie the burlap onto. And it's just your standard black elastic band. The only colors they had there when I was there was black and white, and white stands out too much, so I used black. And the elastic band probably cost like $5 for 10 yards, so it was pretty good deal. The first thing I did with this new burlap was I cut some sheets roughly about that big, that long, and cut them off, and maybe about 3 of those, and I spray painted them pretty much the same colors as last time. Get your OD green, brown, and Africa mustard. And I was a little bit concerned about the Africa mustard because it is very close to the color of the burlap, and I was curious as to if it would even stand out, and it actually does. So you've got more than 3 colors in your wrap when you do that. So like I said, I started out like this, and I cut it down to, I cut those 3 pieces of burlap down to about 6-inch by 2-inch pieces, and started to work on the wrap from there. And I quickly realized that while it was somewhat working, it was a lot more work to do than probably was necessary. That old term, work smarter not harder, kicked in. And so what I did was I cut these pieces longer. Still the same 2 inches long, or 2 inches wide, but I cut on about maybe 10 to 12 inches. And I still kept these, of course, for depth. And those 10 to 12 inch long pieces actually made a lot of difference. It gave me different lengths to work with for making the wrap, to give the appearance of depth and different size things of grass, stalks of grass. And it worked out pretty well. The time it takes to build one of these wraps is a lot longer than the other wrap. This wrap took about 2 to 3 days of working on it for 2.5 hours at a time, maybe twice a day sometimes. And it's tedious, like I said, and can be frustrating, but once you get into a rhythm, it goes by pretty quick. And all I did was just sit down and put on Netflix and just fray these things out. And when I said fray, you just remove these horizontal pieces like that. Oh, there comes a vertical one. And just fray them out from there. Kind of like that. And you get that grass appearance on there. And one thing I did do is, if I did have some of this material come out like this one did, just by itself, I would cut it in half and use it as a a piece of string to tie them onto the wrap with. Let's see if I can take it off here to show y'all real quick how I did that. I attached it to this band in 2 different ways. If I had some longer pieces like this one, this is probably about a 10-inch piece. I basically just wrapped it around the band and then tied it off as close to the band as I could, kind of choking it on the band so I can flip this whichever way I want to flip it to better camouflage the rifle. Then I tied some on like this. Basically just put some together, tied a knot around the top, get a little frazzle up here, and then tied another knot around the band, and then tied a third knot. I'll try to tie a third knot around the center there to help keep these on and keep them from sliding off. And it's, like I said, it's time consuming and very tedious, but it speaks for itself in the camouflage ability. This is by far not completed yet. You can see those gaps in there. When I'm done, those gaps will be completely filled up, and it'll just be one long thing of burlap. I will say none of this stuff is machine washable, because if you try to wash burlap, it'll just fray it more, and it may take the color out of it, and you may lose some burlap. And you don't want to have gaps in your burlap. But you can also stick natural vegetation into this as well, because this stuff is kind of sticky because it's got the spray paint on there. So you can actually stick stuff in there and it'll stay in there as well as it needs to. So that does it for this episode of a rifle wrap on a budget. I've got some other ideas on rifle wraps, and one of them comes from a YouTube friend of mine, Mac.1181. It's very similar to his rifle sleeve. Excuse me, but this one is sort of it's tweaked a little bit more. And I've got another idea too that'll probably be a little bit cheaper than the first one, actually, if I can find the right price on it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment, subscribe, and like. Thanks, guys.